I was actually trying to tack it on to some travel sometime soon, but there's so much back and forth right now with between the ledge and so much other stuff. So, but I promise I'll be there in person sometime soon. I am or am not on camera. I can't recall.
You are, your camera's off.
Your camera is off. I tried to promote you to a
Okay.
panelist, Erica, but it kept declining. So I'm not sure if that's on your end or if it's on our end. I'll try it
Oh,
again.
okay. Okay, let me try again. I may have just X'd it away when I was trying to sign in to get a proper background, etc.
Sure.
Okay, give me just a second here. Oh, sorry.
It says declined again. Let's try
Sorry,
this.
you want to try one more time? Sorry.
Yes.
I saw it pop up. I just didn't say yes in the right place the right time.
Okay.
Oh.
Dr. Bergen, if you can hear me, I've been trying to promote you to a panelist as well, and it keeps declining that invite. So I'm gonna try again. And, oh, there we go. I think it worked now. Oh, no, maybe he just hung up.
And then I'm gonna come on camera just for a moment, just to test it.
Okay.
And I'll go back off until you guys need me. Okay, it's just delayed, but it seems to be.
I can see like there it is.
There I am. Okay, I'm gonna adjust.
Hey. Gotta make sure everybody's on.
Okay.
We're gonna zoom out.
Mahalo. Thank you, thank you. I'm gonna go back to mute.
Okay.
Is Cardo joining?
Yeah, he'll be.
Okay. Sarah, can you see how many people usually watch the live streams?
Yes, the last one got 20 views, the one before got 15. And I'm not sure if that counts people that watch it after it's live. I can't see how many are watching it at a time. I'm not sure.
And I was just discussing with our boss, Greg, our executive director, that this is a fairly easy approval. But for the four additional instruments that would be going out, deployed out in the field in the real estate.
Yeah.
That job would be in the next level permit, which is a site plan. And so it'll be this process, you're going to environment committee.
Dr. Ridley was on and then he hung up.
In all the committees.
I tried to promote him to a panelist and he disappeared.
Maybe get the more committees than we're doing now, is what you're saying.
No,
Same
actually,
committee.
the same.
Okay.
Kahukumana, Kahukumana would be an additional committee, so you skip them this time. They just wanted to know, they wanted to be kept informed if we were doing additional instruments.
Yeah.
So I don't think you'll have to go back to them, we'll just let them know, depending on.
This time around, no.
Yeah, right, but depending how, if it helps observations
Right.
and you decide to go down,
Right.
put up the additional ones, then we'll just ask them.
Right.
Do they want to consult on that?
Right, absolutely.
Their concerns lately with other projects have been, the effect on the visual landscape.
Okay.
And does the project affect, like oceanic grid lines? Which I understand is to be whether they can view the ocean.
I think it will be pretty much hidden.
Yeah,
If
because
it
you're in the
goes on,
valley.
yeah, we're in a valley, it'll be hidden also. I think we'll put it somewhere, and this is just me just thinking aloud, and I could be wrong. It'll be somewhere within the dish, like, infrastructure. We have things that are supporting the dish, moving it. So it'll sit somewhere in the dish infrastructure, and I can't imagine anybody will be able to sort of look at it and say, oh, that's
Yeah.
like, it'll look like some pieces of things sitting on around it, because we have a chiller right now, we have counterweights, we have this, we have that, so we have a few things that are, maintaining the dish movement. This will be, you've seen the things, it'll just be something sitting there, and it's a short one, so I can't imagine. Unless we put it on the pole, and that will have to, think about it. I don't think we will, but at this point, I'm not too sure. Because we haven't really explored, as you said, if we can even detect the kind of variations we are looking for to clean up our data. Hey,
We
very
have
nice
not
to meet you.
officially met.
Very nice to meet you, I'm
Thank you for
Ranjini.
coming. Yeah,
So,
and you're the person,
Clint,
Clint.
yeah, he's our,
Okay.
facility.
That's Clint. Thank you for coming.
Of course,
I don't know that there will be a lot of questions, but
sure. Happy to
it's
answer
always
that.
nice to have the director here.
Ranjani, who's the person that might be joining via Zoom?
Oh, Garrett Keating, Garrett Torto Keating.
I see his name here. Okay, thank you. Just gonna add him to my list if he does show up.
We had some very interesting questions last time around. If we have that, I have Carter to answer those.
Okay. So Ranjani, I want to introduce you to Mike.
Like we met.
Yeah,
Oh, you met, okay. She's the new director,
acting director.
I just consider you guys, when you're acting, internally, you're director.
Acting means they haven't gone through the formal process,
Yes.
but you're it.
We'll see, we'll see.
It's sort of like when your title is coordinator, but you're really the manager. Okay.
Okay, Wade Hockey is panelist.
Yes,
Okay,
I just promoted him.
Hi, Kehal, can you hear us?
she's not muted.
Yes, can hear loud and clear. Thank you.
Sound like this.
She's not saying-
See, yeah,
Look at this,
this is good.
gotta make it happen.
Yes.
Here, close here. Okay, okay.
Did Roberta join?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Julie's on though.
Oh, Julie's on.
Mhm.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was just about to ask if Roberta was coming on.
She is gonna join us. She's in Oregon.
Grandbaby.
Yep.
I didn't hear from Andy.
Neither did I. Did Dr. Billy rejoin?
I haven't seen him come back. He was here though. He was the first one. I was so proud.
So we don't have quorum yet, so we'll have to wait. And there he is.
The man, the myth.
For a legend.
Hey, Andy.
Okay.
Join us, Andy. No, Mr. Wait for Roberta. I mean, we have quorum there. Sorry. Sorry.
There's Roberta. Get it.
Hello, sorry I'm late.
Hi, Roberta.
Hi, Roberta.
Anyway, let's see.
So while you're getting settled, Roberta, we do have quorum.
Okay. Okay, yeah, just need to. Sorry, I'm just trying to get my agenda. Okay, so we have quorum and it is now 7:01, or 5:01. So I will call the meeting to order. Maunakea Management Board, March 3rd meeting. And for the record, all attending via Zoom, if anyone is in the room with you, please raise your hand. Seeing no hands, for the record, all Zoom attendees are by themselves in their room. So I will also mention that we had no testimony, either written or oral. So that is for the record. And I would like to first start the meeting to introduce, we have a new board member, Kehao Gomes. So Kehao is on Zoom with us. And I've known her actually from when she was working at Bank of Hawaii, but a wonderful person, very knowledgeable about the island and the different issues. So let's see, maybe we can quickly introduce ourselves. So Kehao Roberta Chu. So I'm chair of the Maunakea Management Board. I'm now retired. So enjoying that. And let's see, Julie, do you want to say a few words?
Hi, Kehal. Yeah, I'm Julie Leloha. I am the vice chair of the board. I actually started on the environment committee and they wanted me on the board. I was like, okay, you asked for it. So anyway, I'm here. So I'm glad we had another board member. Thank you. Appreciate your you joining us.
And then I think in the library we have Greg. You want to introduce yourself? Although
Aloha, Kihao. Greg Chan, Executive Director for the Center for Maunakea Stewardship and Chief Recruiter of you to the board. I really appreciate you willing to take this on. I know that you're busy with a lot of other stuff that you are involved in the West Side. For those who don't know or didn't have a chance to read about Kehao's background from the Regents meeting when they appointed her, she has a long history of working in the community in various capacities in the Kona side. Born and raised Kona, so it was good to have a representation from that side of the island added to the board. So thank you so much for taking this on. I really look forward to working with you, Kehao.
and I think Andy is in the room, right?
Yeah.
Yes, aloha Keho. I'm Andy Adamson. I'm the Associate Director for Hawaii site at Gemini Observatory. Looking forward to meeting you and working with you.
And then I don't see Dr. Bergen. So
He was
he's
on, but he somehow dropped.
They're traveling on the Hamakua coast and have limited reception, and he said since we have quorum, he's going to stand down.
Okay.
oh, okay. But I know you're familiar with Dr. Billy. Okay. And then also, I think, I don't know, I can't see on my screen, but
Mike Miyahira?
okay, Regent Miyahira.
Okay, Mike Miyahira with the Board of Regents.
And the Regent Higaki.
Thank you, Roberta. Hi, Kehao. Welcome, Wayne Higaki, resident of Waikoloa. 11 years on the Board of Regents. My term expires in June.
Oh.
Only if you get.
Welcome, welcome.
Appoint somebody here.
Only if you get replaced.
Mahalo, everyone. Nice to meet you all.
And then also a member of the board, but she's not here today. She's an ex officio member, is Chancellor Irwin from UH Hilo. So we'll have a chance to introduce you at a later time.
Okay, thank you.
If I may, Roberta, I
Yes.
should let Kehao know the two regents are ex officio members of the board, so we don't have votes, but we do participate in the conversation.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So we will move now to approval of the minutes of the February 3rd meeting. Any changes or additions? If not, can I have a motion to accept the minutes as circulated?
Motion to accept the minutes as, as circulated.
Thank you, Julie. Is there a second?
Second,
Thank you. I think that was Andy. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye or raise your hand. Aye.
Hi.
Okay, unanimous approval. And now we move on to Kahukumana report.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Kahukumana, we've been working with them on basically a lot of the things that I'll be briefing you on, the board on, in my executive director's report. So I don't really have at this point anything new to add to our discussions. We do have a meeting this Thursday with Kahukumana. And just so that you folks know, one of the things that they are extremely interested in is the development, MKSOA's development of their transition plan or their management plan. And specifically how they plug in into that plan, both from the perspective of providing input and what kind of role they will have, if any, once MKSOA is ready to take over. So a lot of their interest has been sort of focused on that aspect of MKSOA's plan. But I'll talk a little bit more about the whole MKSOA plan development process when I get into my director's report.
Okay. Why don't you move into your report?
Okay, thank you. I do have a few slides just to kind of help me stay on topic. Let me pull that up. Okay. Are folks able to see that?
Yes.
Okay. So I want to just briefly, most of my report tonight will be on a legislative update where we are with respect to several bills that we have been tracking through the legislative session this session. I'll also talk a little bit about the work that we're starting to prepare to do on amendments to the UH master plan that we've discussed here and that the regents have asked us to move forward with. I'll talk about the issue of the environmental impact statement that we've been in discussions with MKSOA about, and that really is sort of wrapped up in the whole plan development process that they're involved in. And then finally, update you folks on the financial stabilization plan. So in regards to legislation, and I know there's a lot of words on these slides, so excuse me for that, but I just tried to highlight some of the important things. So the first bill we've been tracking is House Bill 2592, which was heard by the Water and Land Committee in the House of Representatives and was passed with an amendment. But basically, this is the what we call the MKSOA bill, where they seek to make several amendments to Act 255 that they've been seeking. That bill passed out of Water and Land, and then last week was heard by Judiciary and Hawaiian Affairs. And it passed out of Judiciary and Hawaiian Affairs, you see there on the right-hand column, as a second draft, House Draft 2. Those amendments that they made, some of them were minor for technical amendments for clarity, consistency, and style. However, they did add to the committee report that the Judiciary and Hawaiian Affairs Committee believes that MKSOA can extend leases without necessarily triggering Chapter 343. So that's the environmental review process, as long as there's no change to the footprint and use being proposed. And I'll talk a little bit more about that when we get into the EIS. But there was any clarification that Chair Tarnas felt was important to add. The question of extending leases did trigger in some of the testimony and in some of the legislators' minds whether that would trigger a 343 requirement. So he wanted to make sure that that was understood, that as long as the EIS was being done, or the extension, which would call for an EIS, was being done for existing uses, that wouldn't trigger 343. So again, I'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. The other thing I wanted to point out when this bill was heard is that DLNR testimony, as you may recall, one of the things that they are asking in this bill is that the University of Hawaii, CMS, be directed to transfer our Conservation District Use Permits, CDPs, to the MKOs before July 1st, 2028. Right now, the university holds those permits on behalf of the observatories. We have, in our testimony, if you had a chance to read the background material that we provided you, we have argued that the notion that the permits be separate from the land entitlements, I mean, the property interests, just doesn't make sense and goes against sort of how these things have worked in real estate for a long time. DLNR actually submitted testimony supporting that, or agreeing with that position, that the Conservation District Use Permits run with the property interests. So once our general lease transfers to MKSOA, the permits that we hold attached to that lease also need to transfer. And they argued further that that this change would potentially set precedent for how land division at DLNR has to address and deal with changes in ownership of properties that they have leased to different entities. So that was important testimony. However, that did not make it into the amendment itself. So not sure exactly why that is. The next step with this bill is it will go to the House floor for a full vote. And if it passes the House floor, then it will get teed up to send over to the Senate. Next bill is House Bill 2593, House Draft 1. It was heard by Water and Land several weeks ago. It came out with some amendments. The specific amendment was that the original bill, HB 2593, actually by act of law extended the leases for 10 years. For a variety of reasons raised by the Attorney General and us and others. The amendment that they made in HD1 was to make it clear that, the amendment they made was that the leases would not extend by act of law. The authority would be granted the authority to extend the lease on a one-time basis. So when it was heard in Judiciary and Hawaiian Affairs this past week or last week, the chair they passed it as is, House Draft 1, but he just wanted to make clear that this bill does not, through statute, extend the leases. It just authorizes MK-SOA to extend leases. There are some legal questions that we have about how this would all work and whether it would work in some instances that we can talk about more later. But that was a major change here. So this bill will be teed up to go to the full House floor for a vote, and if it passes there, and then be passed over to the Senate. I should note that neither of these bills have existing companion bills on the Senate side, so we don't know how they're going to be taken up or whether they would be taken up by the Senate. The last set of bills are Senate Bill 3310. This was actually a companion bill to the 10-year lease extension, the 2593, House Bill 2593, that had been introduced originally on the House side. This bill had been referred to committee, but never got a hearing. By the deadline date that it needed to have a hearing. So there will be no further action on this bill. However, Senate Bill 2003, this is the audit and reversion to UH bill. So it was heard by the Water and Land Committee and Education Committee on the Senate side, and then passed out with an amendment. And the amendment was that they added this 10-year lease extension item to this bill. And it's not clear exactly why they did, but it may be to keep that 10-year extension idea alive on the Senate side, since 3310 did not go anywhere. That's just speculation on our part. At any rate, the Senate Ways and Means Committee met today for decision-making on SB 2003 SD1. It passed out of the WAM with some amendments, and the amendments what you see there highlighted is sort of the high-level amendment that they made. It requires that if the timeline set in Act 255, July 1st, 2028, is not met by the deadline, then this act is repealed. It also clarifies that Section 9 of 255 shall be completed by July 1st, 2030. Section 9 is a section of Act 255 that talks about the transfer of documents, papers, instruments, property, that sort of thing to MK Solar. A lot of that stuff is the stuff that has been being worked on by the Asset Transfer Working Group. They did insert this timeline or deadline, if you will, for MK Solar to have to meet the timelines as set out in Act 255. This bill will now, I'm assuming, go to the full Senate floor for hearing, and if it's passed, then it'll get sent over to the House side for consideration. Once again, there was no similar companion bill on the House side for 2003. So that's where we are with the legislation. Couple of quick notes on some of these other items that I wanted to also talk about. As you know, the regents have directed us to now amend our master plan to align with Act 255 so that reuse of decommissioned sites can be used for future astronomy uses. With Erica and Justin and OGC's help, we've been able to secure some outside access to outside support to help us review our plans and determine where the various changes may need to be made in our master plan and in our management plan to address this change. We are just initially getting started. We're just getting started on it, so we don't have anything of substance to report. Other than we do have access to some external resources as needed to help support the work on that. So I will have more substantive updates in the future as we go forward.
Greg, question?
Was that?
Question, Greg?
Yep. Yep.
Does any change in the plan require public hearings?
The public hearings, if you will, or decision-making points that will be public will be the Board of Regents meeting to approve whatever the amendments end up being, and MK Solar's board meeting, which is also public, because they have to approve this as well. I did confirm with DLNR last week. I had a meeting with them in Honolulu that the land board does not approve the master plan amendment. So I will keep them informed and apprised of where we are in the whole process, but there will be no decision making at that level as well.
Okay, so it's a slightly different process than the rules.
Yeah, there's not a requirement for public hearings per se, but we will be doing some public outreach once we develop the amendments proposals.
Okay, thanks.
You probably saw Bonnie has joined us. Welcome, Bonnie. On the environmental impact statement, as I briefed you folks in previous meetings, this is an idea that we have been proposing with MK Solar to move forward with. Among other things, one of the concerns they've had is how do they conduct an EIS when they haven't completed their master plan or their management plan. What I've been advocating is the idea that you do the EIS based on existing uses, not new uses. But what that does is that it allows them, once a EIS is completed and accepted, that sets the stage for them to begin lease negotiations, lease discussions with the observatories, which is a crucial step in their process. It does. Noho and I have met with their permitted interaction group, their PIG, to discuss this. We've gotten some outside consultation from outside consultants. to kind of clarify some of what would be the way to approach this. I believe, the idea from proceeding in a parallel path with their master plan development is now sort of being understood, how that could happen. And how that can work. I have assumed, and I don't know, but their master plan may, one of the things that they've been concerned about is determining what they're calling carrying capacity of the mountain in terms of numbers of telescopes. Our master plan, which they are also proposing to adopt now, says the limit should be 9. There are a number of ways that we can structure the EIS to cover existing uses, to cover 9, to cover 6, or whatever, as we look at alternatives. So still not ready to move forward yet, but there does seem to be recognition that getting started on this work would be really, really important in their overall transition progress. Specific to their plan development, last week and today, this morning, MKSOA's consultants held 2 workshops for our staff, specifically to get our staff's input on their strategic framework and several key issues relative to their management plan, like how do we manage access going forward, commercial activities, that sort of thing. Those workshops were well attended by our team, our staff, and appreciated. They were fully engaged. The next step in their plan development now is to begin, they want to set up a bunch of one-on-one meetings, interviews with our managers, with our management team. So we'll be working with them in the next month to set that up. So that's where they are with their plan development and their EIS. And finally, on the financial stabilization plan, I think we are close to agreeing on basic terms. They do want to agendize this issue with their board for next week, and we're pushing for that. I don't have in a form yet that to share with everybody, and the MK execs still need to sign off as well. But the basic idea is they would contribute an amount to cover all revenues that we've already lost from MKO rent and RTRF. In addition to that, they are willing to contribute an additional amount for us to help them with a number of other things that would require adding resources. And in addition to that, they're willing to contribute an additional amount for, we have some pretty significant vehicle and equipment replacement needs. So I don't want to get too far ahead of things, but in total, we're talking $5+ million that they may be contributing.
Is that going to be adequate to balance the budget?
Yes, yes. However, the caveat is their funding only is through July 2027, June 30th, 2027. So that last year is still question mark.
Does all the equipment transfer to MKSOA once we're done?
Say again, Julie, I did.
Does the equipment and vehicles, et cetera, transfer directly to MKSOA at that point of
Yes.
transfer?
Yes, yes.
Back to the EIS, Greg. If we restart the application, does it need to be transferred or assigned to MKSO?
No, our position is that they should start it.
Okay.
It's theirs, it's
Right.
their EIS. We're here to help support it. We actually have, you know, as I've said, we have all that past work that we can provide. But it should be theirs. So there wouldn't have to be a transfer.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I was just wondering, I've never heard of one being transferred.
yeah, yeah. Any other questions?
Greg,
I know
I
that's-
have a question regarding the Senate bill. So it was amended to read that if all the requirements were not met by 2028, the act would, or sorry, I forgot the word. Was it expire or,
It would be repealed.
oh, repealed?
Yeah.
So that means then that it just goes back to UH.
Well, I think that's undetermined. They left that open.
Oh,
They didn't
okay.
actually say that. So we don't know.
But shouldn't it be clear so that
Yeah,
everybody
that's why
understands?
this is just sort of what we heard at the hearing today. We're gonna have to wait to see what the committee report actually says when
I
it comes
see.
up. Yeah,
I see. Okay. Can you keep us posted on that?
yes, for sure.
Thank you.
Erica, are you tracking that too?
Yes, our office is as well,
Okay,
but we're all left this is the one that actually was just heard today. So we won't have any more information for hopefully a day or so.
okay. Maybe by Thursday, you can update.
Certainly.
Okay, how we forgot to introduce Erica. Erica is our general counsel. So she keeps us legal.
Hi, Erica.
I am one of the attorneys in the Office of General Counsel at UH. Pleasure to meet you. Lovely to have you join.
Thank you.
Any other questions? If not, that concludes my my report.
All right. So the next agenda item is the SMA weather instrument upgrade.
Yeah,
You need our concurrence.
yeah. This is actually being presented for information only. So there's actually no action needing, you folks need to take. But we do want to incorporate any feedback or questions that you folks may have into the what we send the OCCL. So joining us here in the room today are Ranjani Srinivasan.
Yeah.
Okay, who is the interim director of SMA, the Smithsonian telescope, and Clint Monso. And then also online is Garrett. Okay, there he is, Garrett Keating. So they're here to explain the project, and of course Joy is here as well. Nahua, Joy, I don't know if you folks want to say anything before I ask Ranjani to explain what it is that they're wanting to do.
Sure, I'll just explain briefly on the permitting for this project. So it's replacing an existing weather instrument on the SMA hangar facility. And with that being a like-to-like replacement, OCCL, under whose rules we're operating, only requires a request for concurrence. And if this instrument is determined to be successful for SMA, they are considering adding up to 4 others throughout their sublease area. And in that case, we would come back with a full proposal for a site plan approval because those would be brand new instruments adding on to their site. And so with that, could we possibly pull up the proposal? For unshare? That, just in case, our SMA colleagues would like to, refer to it during their presentation.
The memorandum?
Yeah.
Okay.
So while Sarah's doing that, I'll ask Rondella if you can explain why the project is necessary.
So we're just planning to swap out an older instrument with a newer weather station because this will yield us better measurements to maybe if we're going to try and evaluate to see if we can measure the pressure and density variations to be able to correct our actual observed data. So that's what we're trying to determine. We don't know yet if this is going to help us, but we are attempting to do so.
Okay. And so the replacement is on the main building?
Yes,
Okay. And
so it's a one-to-one swap at this point.
about how big is the replacement?
So the replacement is about a tenth of a meter, approximately tenth of a meter by 1 meter.
Okay. And does it emit any
No. No.
radio waves
No.
or anything like, no? Okay, so it's just sensing.
Yes.
Okay. And when you say pressure, is but barometric pressure, is that what you're, okay. So for those of us who don't quite understand how SMA works, how does that actually potentially help determine or help you clean up your data?
That I will turn you over to our crack deputy director. And yeah, Carter, go for it.
Yeah, so basically what we're trying to measure here is instability in the atmosphere. At radio wavelengths, actually, we suffer from the same seeing effects that the optical telescopes do. Our aperture just tends to be much larger, so we've got anywhere between a 30 meter to a 500 meter aperture. All of our individual antennas contribute to what is effectively one large telescope. And we see seeing in a very similar way, and that's being driven by changes in the atmosphere. So what we're trying to see is whether or not we can measure at much higher cadence pressure fluctuations, density fluctuations as they're propagating across the array, because that could turn out to be inducing the same kind of seeing that effectively the optical telescopes are seeing. So we have noticed this particularly during the daytime hours where we see particular instability in the interferometer. We're hoping to get this first weather station out with this much better, much higher precision barometer, able to take measurements at a much higher cadence, so capturing changes much more quickly than the previous weather station was capable of, and see if we can correlate this information with what we're seeing from the interferometer. If we see a correlation, that may give us enough evidence to indicate, okay, this is a potential scheme, or at least here's a measurement that we can use to potentially correct for what is atmospheric seeing at millimeter wavelengths.
Okay. And so if it proves to be successful or useful, and you folks do want to deploy up to 4 more, where would those be located?
That is an open question. Part of the reason that we want to get the first station up there is that we don't actually know what the acoustic pressure environment looks like. It could turn out that if there's a bunch of what I would call high frequency, very rapid changes that are happening across the array, we will want to keep the stations closer in. And if it turns out that there are much longer wavelength variations, things that are more driven by things like gravity waves changing over the course of minutes, possibly even hours, we may want to push out the extent of the array. So all that to say, it's not a solved question yet. We're not quite sure about what's the right spatial scale to distribute these stations, which is part of why we want to come back with an actual plan once we've studied a little bit better the state of the atmosphere with the first station.
Good. Roberta. You're on mute, Roberta. Still can't hear you.
How's that? Okay, now.
Okay.
It's a pretty simplistic question. So Garrett, is what you're trying to do similar to what adaptive optics does for the
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That is
Yes.
exactly true. The only difference is that we're trying to do it digitally versus doing things mechanically. So we
I
can actually
see.
correct for all of this after the fact, which is one of the great things about interferometry is that I can go back to the data and mess with all these
Wow.
instabilities after the fact.
Okay, great. That'd be very amazing, I think.
I think so too.
Yeah.
So just so you folks know, if you know who Devin Chu is, that's his mother. So she knows a little bit about astronomy.
I just
Oh,
met
yeah.
Devin. I just met Devin like last week or 10 days ago.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yes.
All of the family.
Well,
So
he's
she
the
knows a little
smartest
bit.
of all of us.
Questions for Ranjani and the team?
So this is Wayne. Say you are successful and get the results that you want with this first stage. I'm calling it, I don't know how else to explain it. Will any of the future stages require disturbing soil, land, that's new disturbance?
That would not be my expectation, just because because we do need power and we do need communication, effectively Ethernet. My expectation is that these stations would go to locations where we have either pads or other infrastructure already existing. We need to actually be able to collect this data in real time. We are trying to get measurements on millisecond timescales. So we can't just put a station out in the middle of nowhere without having the infrastructure to be able to support it.
So from a layperson's perspective, I would suggest that to the extent that you can be more sure about that, that is something that you want to talk about for those that might not be in favor of any kind of additional development on the mountain.
So this first one is just a replacement at an existing site. As Joy indicated, if they decide to move forward with deploying more instruments, then we'd have to take a look at all of those aspects. That's a good point, Wayne. Thank you.
That'll be a brand new proposal, I
Yeah,
would
yeah,
imagine at
yeah,
that point.
Yeah, it's a brand new proposal. That would probably require, even without the ground disturbance, would probably require a higher level authorization.
And right there, thank you, Sarah, and thank you, SMA, for providing those graphics. You can see that right there on the hangar rooftop is where the instrument currently is and where the new one will go. So just on top of the building. About a foot. Well,
About a meter, yeah.
10th of a meter.
10th of a meter in either direction, about a meter in height.
I was looking at a picture of the instrument itself.
Right. This is the current one.
Any other questions?
Yeah, could I ask a couple? So is this ultrasonic or is it something else?
Is this?
No, it's not. It's not ultrasonic.
I don't think it matters. I'm just asking. So, somewhere in the proposal you mentioned improving on quality of data taken during the day. Do you anticipate asking for a change in the radio frequency policy?
In what sense?
I think your current radio frequency policy allows the use of some radio devices and cell phones between 10 AM and 4 PM.
Oh, okay. Well, we are planning to, we are planning to do solar observing on a regular basis. Right now, we're completely in the sort of retrofitting and commissioning phase. So, yeah, I don't know about that, honestly.
So,
Huh? Yeah.
I'll
Sorry,
just-
go ahead, Carter.
Yeah, we operate at a much higher frequency than typical cell phone bands. Usually the cell phone bands that at least most people have are anywhere between 1 to 5 gigahertz. So we tend to be much higher above that. In fact, our antennas tend to be actually relatively well shielded to RF interference. In fact, I think it's the optical cameras that tend to be more sensitive because they've got microwave-based detectors inside their cameras. So the most transmitters that might exist up on the Mana probably will not be a problem for us. The worst thing that I can think of off the top of my head are the radar systems that sometimes exist inside of cars. Those can transmit up in W band, which is starting to get closer to our frequencies, but generally speaking, not a source of interference for us.
So no change, right? And I just noticed near the end, there's a mention of the VAT population on the summit. I just think for consistency with what went in with the previous proposal, which just stated that the VATs aren't actually present in the summit region.
We haven't observed any bats
Yeah,
in the science reserve. Or I should say, in the astronomy precinct.
yeah. But it doesn't say that in this case.
No.
So this one looks different from the previous one.
How is it different?
It doesn't mention that no bats are observed.
Something perhaps you should take into consideration if you proceed with the new application.
What are you referring to? Where are you referring to?
Right near the end, the very last page. Yeah, there's best management practices. It's at the top of the last page. Best management practices for the endangered line or bat. And it talks about no barbed wire fencing, then it talks about not trimming trees and stuff, but it doesn't actually mention that those bats haven't been observed on the summit.
Okay. So that's in the project proposal. right?
It's in-
Those are our standard project conditions.
Okay.
yeah. I'm just remembering the previous one.
Yeah,
Subaru,
Subaru,
yeah. Yeah, where this was raised.
So one of the things we can do is note that we may need to just clarify that standard condition a little bit, that, you know, the project is being done in an area where we know that there have been no observed bats, that we note that. Can always count on Andy to catch us on these things. Good catch though. Thank you. Because one of the things that is important is not only consistency, but that we're demonstrating that we recognize there are a number of different factors that we need to consider in different ways and different things that could be threatened by any project. Any other questions? If not, if there's no, substantive reason to not proceed, there's no action on your part required. We'll take your input and incorporate it as able to and needed, and proceed with issuing requests for concurrence from OCCL. So thank you very much.
Very good. Okay, so next item on the agenda is executive session.
Yeah, Chair, I would like to make a motion that the board move into executive session to consult with our attorney on questions and issues pertaining to our powers and duties as related to the items that I covered in my Maunakea CMS Executive Director's Report.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Julie. All in favor, say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, unanimous. We will move into executive session, but before we do, I just want to thank, um, the presenters on the information and very informative.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cue to leave?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. You see at the director's meeting.
Yes, see you.
Thanks, Joy.
Thank you, again.
I know he's
Have
gotta
we got
be-
the AI running? Is it not doing it for us? I save every single Zoom meeting though,
Do you?
just in case, yeah. Mostly right. Too distracted.
You beat everybody, Cal.
Hey, she's a former Banco employee. Okay, I spent 27 years at Banco.
Oh, nice.
Roberta took my place.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. Why don't you tell me when everyone's on and I will
I think everyone.
reconvene. See everybody?
Just wait on Julie.
Okay, Aunt Julie.
Oh, there she is. Get Joy too.
Okay, Julie's here. All right, it is 6:24 and I will reconvene the public Maunakea Management Board meeting. So again, for the record, those attending via Zoom, please raise your hand if there's someone other than yourself in the room with you. Seeing no hands, confirming that those attending via Zoom are by themselves. I will now turn the meeting over to Greg Chun to summarize the executive session.
Sure, thank you, Chair. So welcome back, everyone. So during the executive session, we had the opportunity to discuss some of the statutory implications of the legislative proposals moving through the legislative session that we discussed earlier in our meeting, particularly as it impacts the university. During the meeting, there were no decisions made, no actions taken, no recommendations directed. It was for information only and to consult with our attorney on exactly the implications to the university.
Thank you, Greg. So let's see, announcements. Do you have any announcements, Greg or Nahua?
Do you have any announcements? No.
No,
Okay.
I don't.
Yeah.
Okay, so next public meeting for Maunakea Management Board will be on Tuesday, April 7th at 5 p.m. Wishing everyone, Girls' Day, happy Girls' Day, happy Children's Day. And thank you for attending, and I will adjourn the meeting. See you next month. Aloha.
Thank
Can
you.
you say
everyone.
the time for me, Roberta?
Oh, I'm sorry. It is now 6:26.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Aloha.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Aloha, everyone.